This is one of the most expensive apartments in Singapore. If you were here, you'd be standing on about $3,500, the cost of 1 square foot in this place. It's beyond the wildest dreams of most Singaporeans to live in a property like this. Now, imagine someone owning an entire building of these luxury apartments. This really happened, and actually, it's part of a trend. Chinese nationals are coming here to buy up Singapore's poshest properties, and here's why. The first factor driving the influx of China's ultra-wealthy to Singapore is how differently the two nations have handled the pandemic in recent months. In April this year, Singapore's restrictions were gradually being rolled back, with social distancing and group size limits being lifted. People were also returning to their offices. Meanwhile, this was the situation in Shanghai. The city saw a 2-month lockdown as part of China's aggressive zero-COVID policy. This involves schools being shut, the suspension of public transport, non-essential businesses closing, and plenty of rigorous testing. City officials seemed underprepared for the lockdown, as many residents complained of food shortages and overrun medical facilities. There were also reports of people being forced into quarantine facilities against their will.
The level of healthcare facilities there are not as mature as what we have, so there is indeed a very real risk that the healthcare system is not able to cope. I think more importantly, there is a political risk as well when and if you have persisted for so long with this particular policy, and for the longest time we have insisted that this is the correct principle. It is very difficult to de-escalate immediately and open up, and even so I would think that you would naturally invite questions as to, okay, why have you persisted for so long?
While it officially ended in June, many parts of Shanghai were still subject to swift and harsh lockdowns that gave people little notice, further contributing to their frustrations and the social unrest. Other major economic hubs have also been subject to these sudden disruptions and strict controls. Such measures have taken a toll on both civic trust and the economy.
A dynamic COVID-0 policy for wealthy Chinese who are used to being mobile, movement of people, capital, goods, ideas and so forth, that probably is antithesis to what they have been accustomed to. And with the snap lockdowns, the uneven implementation of lockdowns, that forms one of the key push factor. The other is, I think, that there is a sense of unpredictability, both in domestic politics, still before the party congress, questions of what's going to happen to the market, how far the limits of President Xi and his power centralization will be. These were questions that were not quite resolved.
Another reason China's wealthy are worried? Taxes. There's a growing common prosperity movement in China, with the government pushing for more people to have equal opportunities to become rich. What this means is that come 2023, a new tax law will require the high-earning middle class to pay a personal income tax of up to 45% on their year-end bonuses. But why their exodus to Singapore specifically?
For Singapore's case, the pull factors, I think, culturally we are very familiar to Chinese, linguistically, social-culturally, so that already makes Singapore a very natural, attractive destination for them. Generally, our stable, predictable, pro-business, pro-wealthy, pro-mobility environment as well makes it a very attractive destination for people to park their investments and for Singapore to be a very appealing and attractive destination to those that are mobile and to those that are looking to shift their assets away from China.
China is already Singapore's largest trade partner. And as anti-Asian sentiments developed in the West, Singapore seems like a safer, better option. So what impact will China's wealthy have on property markets here?
I would say that they have been around. There has been a constant stream of China wealthy investing in Singapore for the last 2 years. I would say that their presence in Singapore, they actually kind of maintain the property prices at its peak right now. But it's also the reason why the government implemented the additional buyer stamp duty to curb many of these buyers from investing in Singapore and jacking the price too high.